to his mother. Let us pray. God of compassion, as you did in Nain, enter our city gate, walk our streets where joy runs and grief lingers, step into homes, businesses, schools, shelters, shops, and into the emergency rooms and the nursing homes, into the spaces we claim as holy and those we will rather you not see. Come to the places where people feel seen and to the corners where they feel forgotten.
God of compassion, enter Coffeyville.
Bless what we have given up on, what we have already begun to bury. Bless our broken systems, difficult relationships, and quiet struggles. Bless leaders and laborers, youth and elders, the housed and the unhoused.
God of compassion, bless what we call hopeless.
You see us when we are weary, when we are brave, when we feel invisible, and when we dare to hope. Thank you for seeing our best where we see the worst.
God of compassion, thank you for seeing us.
Speak again your word of life. Get up. To the discouraged, the overworked, the underpaid, the displaced, the fearful, those far from home building a new life among us, the addicted in our community, the alone, say get up. To this city, all its people, and its passionate leaders here present, say get up. May you bless them to lead not just with strategy, but with kindness and justice.
God of compassion, raise us to new life.
Make us one, Lord. Give us voices of truth, heart of mercy, and the courage to emulate your love so deeply in what we do.
When our strength runs out, your compassion is enough. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Pastor. We will now move on to a review of the agenda.
I will move to amend the agenda to add item number 1 and item number 5 to the consent agenda, add discussion item number 1 to new business, and add an executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Maples to amend the agenda to add item number 1 and item number 5 to the consent agenda, add discussion item number 1 to new business, and add an executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
We will now move on to our consent agenda. Number 1, action to accept the resignation of Dawn Edwards from the City of Coffeyville Commission. Number 2, City Commission meeting minutes for Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Number 3, action to appoint Chris Weiner as director and Ben Brubaker as alternate to the KMGA Board of Directors, serving to August 30th, 2025. And 4, the 2025 appropriation ordinance number AO-25-11 in the amount of $5,295,979.47.
Mayor, if I may. Ben, I had previously sent you a text asking about this director positions. Is that a full voting board member, or is it just simply an ex officio seat?
It's a full voting.
Full board meeting seat. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any highlights for
Yes,
the
I do, Mayor. Out of the appropriation ordinance, a few things here that are included in this large appropriation ordinance. We have, excuse me, Algar Martin and Associates, $6,950. This is the pay estimate for the 8th Street water line and the Wilcox Street sewer project. I have BG and Sons mowing, $2,548. This is for mowing some properties that have not been taken care of. BG Consultants, $20,802. This is for the CDBG Use Grit Trail payment number 16. Bradley Mowing, $1,040. This is again weed lot mowing. Bromley Painting, $6,900. This is for an historical downtown grant that we awarded. Christopher Pelton, this again is for weed lot mowing, $1,920. We have Cosgrove Guttering, $1,500. This is part of the emergency home repair program that we had for a couple of homes here. We have Delta Dental of Kansas. These are for dental claims, $4,358.70. G&G Dozer, this is to clean up nuisance properties, $1,000. Hemp-Hill Oil Distribution, jet fuel out at the airport, $20,297. Hunter Glen, $4,610. This again is for nuisance cleanup and lot mowing. We have Cone Construction. This is $191,625. This is payment number 4 for the multi-use trail. We have Meridian Health. We have them twice on here. The first are health premiums at $44,333. The second one is $105,552, and those are health claims paid. We have Montgomery County Treasurer, $25,340.23. This is for tag, title, registration on vehicles. We have Muller Construction, $2,425. Again, this is for house demo and cleanup. We have Randall Hand Shoemaker, $1,400. Those are for weed lot mowing again. Richard Bradley, $180 for weed lot mowing. Sherwin-Williams, this is $1,925. It's the Paint the Town program. There was about 8 or 10 addresses on here that took part of that. We had Solutions North Bank, $5,000. This was our first time home buyer program that we had. Waste Connections, this is $84,916.23. That's our residential trash service. We have Wex Bank or Phillips 66. This is part of our fuel for our vehicles and the many departments, $31,100.05. We have Worldwide Diesel Power, $138,384. This is the pay estimate number 22 and 23 on the maintenance on the big gens out of the new generation plant. And we have Christopher Pelton, $1,380. That again is for lot cleanup. We have payroll of $494,668. And that's a part of that. The reason why I read all of those nuisance cleanups, those amounted to $16,503 of our tax-paying money that is going to clean up property. Now, we do get some of that back eventually, but not all. It's either through a lien or the people do come in and pay after they've got a letter. But that's quite a bit of money, and that's just for this appropriation ordinance. Okay, that's it.
Any questions?
No questions?
All right, I will move to approve items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh, go ahead.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Okay. 2025 appropriation ordinance number AO-25-11 for 11A, for Coffeyville Swimming and Lifeguarding, $3,425. And I will move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve item 5 of the consent agenda as presented. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Abstain.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have any comments? I'm looking right at you. Come on down. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Gail Smith, 1451 County Road 4500, Coffeyville. Mayor, Commissioners, Coffeyville Summer Celebration. This is our 9th year. I believe I got a letter from city manager kind of wanting maybe an update on this, on our event, and we got a lot of new stuff. July the 12th, Walter Johnson Park. Our vendors, car show, of course, our DJ all day, our kitty car show, cruise. We're having the bands, Retro Rockers and Backroads Band again. They just put on a good show. I don't see any reason, if it ain't broke, I'm not gonna fix it. Our cornhole tournament, our 5K run and walk. We got water slides again, face painting. And I would like to welcome, from the city of Coffeyville, backing us like they have through all the years. Of course, Dollar Tower, Lonsbar Bradley. I kind of got a wild hair here a while back, and I knew South Coffeyville wasn't going to have a fireworks show. And I called Melissa just to, just maybe kind of be reassured that this would be okay with the Coffeyville, and she said she thought it was a good idea. So South Coffeyville's on board with us with a donation, and then they had some excess fireworks that they're going to donate to us. So then I had another.
And then Deering.
And then had another wild hair, so I called my cousin, Pat Smith, is the city clerk in Deering, city clerk. And first she told me they didn't think they had any funds in their general. So she called me back a couple of days later and said, yeah, I said, we're gonna go in with you too. So we got funds from Deering. Now we don't know now. We're gonna have to call Independence and Liberty and all of them and maybe make it a Montgomery County summer supper. I don't know yet, but anyway, I called Bartlett Co-op. I know the guy, Perry. I know him from being out the fair at the premium sales, and we had gotten together sometimes, and I just called him to talk to him one day, and he said, I know what you're doing. And he asked me, he says, would $4,000 help you guys out? I about fell to the floor. And I said, absolutely. And so they came on board. Of course, we got Solutions Bank, we got Community National Bank. The banks have just been tremendous. GRDA, they came through again this year like they have last. As of tonight, my wife's been taking the calls, and Mike also. But as of tonight, we've got 88 vendors on the list.
And over 70 are new.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
That's awesome.
I think we're going to need a bigger park. But yeah, we got guys. We'll get them in. I think I mentioned the Ville Productions. That's Drew Banzett and Andy Bell. They'll be putting on the music and the announcements all day. We're going to promote all of our sponsors like we do every year. The fun run will start about 7:30 in the morning, I think. The 5K. The car show about 8. The registration.
Start the registration on that.
The kids' car, little car show and cruise. It'll start registration about 8 o'clock. Probably have their cruise. We'll lead them out
About
1 o'clock
About 1:30.
or 1:30
Yeah.
and do their awards.
Yeah.
The cornhole tournament, I think, starts at noon.
Starts at noon.
Uh,
And there is an entry fee for it, but all the money goes back to police and
Yeah,
fire,
fire.
injured police and fire. They don't keep the money.
That's kind of another event, kind of separate from us, but it benefits the police and fire.
Yeah.
We will have our water slides out there again. Got some people coming in for face painting. Community National Bank, they're sponsoring this year the 5K run and the walk, and then they're going to sponsor in part the car show. Taylor Crane and 4 Point Services. Taylor Crane will have their crane by the steam locomotive. 4 Point Services will have their crane with big flags on the A Street side. That's always a really neat attraction as far as I'm concerned. And then we got our Power Wheels, our kids. A guy from Cherryville, you might know him, his name's Wesley Shepard. He rebuilds these Power Wheels. He's going to have a bunch of them out there. If you got little kids that doesn't have one, he's bringing a bunch of them. If you want to ride one, he's going to let you ride one of his, no charge. He's also got a brand new little Lamborghini Power Wheels that he's going to raffle and give away.
Oh, wow.
So that's another little event deal. I think we've got a good show coming up again. I hope the park is full. Last year, I thought it was just overwhelming. I really never seen so many people in the park for a one-day event
Yes.
in my life. That park was absolutely packed. And I think it will be again this year. So.
And one other thing that's coming this year that I got surprised with, if you want bragging rides, come and ride a camel. We're going to have camels out there to ride.
A guy from southeast Nebraska called and said he's going to be down in this area anyway. And he said, you want to know if he could bring them? And I said, well, okay, you clean up your mess, buddy. That's all. Anyway, but, there's a lot of things going on.
A lot of things.
And I just think, I'm proud of the fact that we can do it. I'm so thankful that the city, approves us, 9 years worth. I hope I can keep doing it. I just spent 10 days in Joplin, and they got me on oxygen, but I'm okay. So, as long as I can do it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, that's great.
We really appreciate
Yep,
it.
and God forgave me and kept me alive. I shouldn't be here either, but we're
You've
going to
both done well.
As
Very
long
well.
as you guys will have us, we're going to be here.
Yeah, we're going to do it. No.
We
Yeah.
thank you.
But anyway, that's just kind of an update, partial of what's going on. I think we're going to be busy Friday. Hopefully a lot of our vendors come in on Friday. We get them set up. We will have security out there Friday night. And then Saturday, I think it's going to be total chaos. It'll be good chaos.
Yeah,
Fun chaos.
yes.
Anyway,
Thank you
Thank you
so
again.
much. It is
we'll be
amazing.
back with a report afterwards.
Okay.
Awesome.
It's amazing to see how you've grown this event from when you said 9 years ago to now,
Oh yeah, it's just.
And
It-
I
it's
remember
just-
you said you couldn't believe it getting any better way back. And now look at it.
Yeah, it's like, I started at my house 18 years ago. With just a band and some fireworks and, and
A
then,
barbecue.
and now it's just blowing up. It's really, I think the fireworks show this year is gonna be,
Oh, my gosh.
it'll be twice, I think, what it was, so.
Okay.
I'll leave that to see, so.
All
A
right.
lot of
Thank you
people look
again.
forward to it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. Thank you.
Thanks,
You
you
too.
too.
Thank you, Mike and Gil.
Anybody else? Okay, we will move on to public hearings, special presentations, and proclamations. We will now have a presentation by the Montgomery County Action Council, Melissa Johnson, Executive Director.
So it wouldn't be an update without handouts.
Of course.
So I brought some information along for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I am Melissa Johnson, the Executive Director for Montgomery County Action Council. And for those of you who may not be aware, MAC's sole priority is to, or our number one priority is to create and retain jobs. And by doing so, we can help to expand the tax base, promote economic diversity by encouraging small business, and of course, enhancing the quality of life for all of our citizens. This evening, I just want to provide you guys with an update on what we've been up to for the last year. You will find in your packets some slides to follow along. Basically, some of the things that we've been doing is providing member support to our MAC business members, visiting with them one-on-one to find out how we can support those businesses, and also assisting those small businesses with their grant applications for additional funding. We've also been having quite a few meetings with our MAC business members to talk to them about our talent attraction initiative and the incentive program that we have available to attract that workforce and keep that workforce here in the Montgomery County area. And then finally, making sure that we are keeping all of our MAC members and the community updated on what's going on with economic development by providing presentations and also hosting educational workshops for our business members so they can continue to thrive. When it comes to some of those grant applications, just want to touch on a couple of things that we've had some successes on. We recently assisted multiple businesses with a Forge grant application. This is a grant application that was designed specifically for small businesses. It is a capital improvement fund, and it provides small grants up to $5,000. And I'm happy to report that we assisted 8 small businesses with their grant applications, and we were recently notified that all 8 did receive that award. Now, $5,000 might not sound like a lot, but to a small business, it certainly is, and that's over $40,000 that we've been able to secure for our small business members. When it comes to some of those educational workshops, over the past year, we've hosted several, the first of which was our Small Business Energy Workshop that we hosted with Kansas Energy Program down in Caney. Earlier this year, we hosted the Economic Development or Economic Outlook Conference. We did that in partnership with Coffeyville Community College. And then just earlier today, we hosted the Small Business or AI for Small Business Workshop, and this is something that we co-sponsored with the Coffeyville Chamber of Commerce and SBDC of Kansas. And basically, we just covered introduction to artificial intelligence and shared some tips and suggestions with small business owners on how they can put AI to work for them so they can get more time back in their day. But it's not just about professional development and education for our business members. It's also about professional development for MAC and our team. So we have attended quite a few professional development events over the course of the past year, and we have been, of course, working on quite a few economic development projects. And I'm sure you guys know when it comes to economic development is more of a marathon, not a sprint, and sometimes it can take a little bit of time before those projects come to fruition. Before we dive into all of that, I do want to talk just a little bit about the teamwork approach that we're taking. In 2024, MAC joined Team Kansas, which is a consortium of economic developers from across the state, and we're taking a more proactive approach on trying to attract business and industry to the state. So we joined in 2024, and we were able to go out and build relationships with site selectors who help those businesses identify potential locations for future development. And we actually came back from that event in 2024 and made a commitment that we wanted to attend additional events in 2025. So we've been able to partner with all 4 cities within the county. Each one has provided an investment to help us get to the next tier level, which will allow us to attend additional events in 2025 and beyond. When it comes to teamwork, we really do think it's important that we continue to maintain strong open lines of communication. So we have monthly meetings with our city leaders. We also host quarterly meetings with our city administrators and our county administrator to make sure we're all getting together, talking about common challenges that we have, pooling our resources, and making sure that we're all rowing in the same direction. MAC also serves as ex officio on the various chambers of commerce throughout the county, and we also serve on economic development advisory boards. We want to do everything that we can for our small businesses and for our small communities to help them as the economic development arm for those communities that we serve. As I mentioned, when it comes to economic development, things do take time. If you'll think back to the Bartlett soybean crushing facility, we first got a call at the MAC office back in 2021. They broke ground in the summer of 2022, and we had their grand opening in the fall of 2024. So it does take time for those projects to come to fruition, but they can also create a little bit of a snowball effect. And just to give you a few examples of some of the things that we've seen, I'm sure that your city manager can tell you that it seems like the developers have been coming out of the woodwork. We're getting calls left and right from housing developers, site selectors, and investors wanting to come to Montgomery County. And part of that is because of what they see with the $400 million project at Bartlett, but it's also because of our location. We have affordable acreage. We have a network of rail and highways that makes it a very appealing location for additional manufacturers to relocate. But again, it does take time for those things to come to fruition. The city of Cherryville has really expanded on that. They recently annexed 20 acres that we're marketing as a commercial corridor off of Highway 169. We want to make sure that we are capitalizing on the increased traffic that we see from the Bartlett soybean crushing facility. And I'm pleased to report that the city of Cherryville recently did sign a contract on their certified site, which is a 65-acre parcel of land on the north side of the community. And they sold that to a development group that is actively working on bringing some business and industry to the area. Now, another big win that we recently had was Spears Manufacturing. If you're not familiar with Spears, they do have multiple locations throughout the nation. We've been working with them for quite some time on an expansion, and they did recently announce that they are going to be expanding their southwest facility down in Caney, which is going to bring another 175 jobs to the community, and that's an investment of about $22 million. Additional projects that are in the works include Project Jayhawk, and this is a development group out of Oklahoma that is actively seeking a location here in Montgomery County for an IT-related project. And if this does come to fruition, we would be looking at increasing our job count by about 30 good-paying jobs, and we would anticipate probably 200 construction workers during the course of the build. In fact, Ben and I have a call with them tomorrow to talk about potential partnerships here in the Coffeyville area. We got to celebrate the big wins and the small wins. You know, Joe's Italian Restaurant is a small business owner. They started with one location here in Montgomery County back in October, and they recently opened their second location here in Coffeyville. And even though we know that the big turnaround at the refinery has passed, there is still more work on the horizon. As I'm sure you're aware, the nitrogen fertilizer plant will be hosting their turnaround. It's going to be large for them, but smaller in comparison to the refinery. They're expecting somewhere between 750 and 1,000 workers in the community. Back to our certified sites. A certified site basically means that we've gone through and done our due diligence to make sure that these parcels of land in our industrial parks are shovel-ready for development. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning. Montgomery County has more certified sites than any other county in the state of Kansas. Now, I'm going to say that again because it's worth repeating and also because it's cut off the screen. But Montgomery County has more certified sites in our county than any other county in Kansas. And as I mentioned earlier, we did have a contract on the Cherryville certified site, meaning that that is the first certified site that has sold in the state of Kansas. In addition to the 4 certified sites that already exist, MAC is in the process of certifying 3 additional sites: Coffeyville Industrial Park Sites 1 and 2 and Caney Industrial Park North. In fact, MAC has invested over $182,000 since 2022 in getting these sites shovel-ready, which is going to help us with development in the future.
How long will that take for the Coffeyville sites?
We're in the process of getting that approved, so once the application is received by Kansas Department of Commerce, it's usually about a 4-week turnaround. Now, it's been in the works here in Coffeyville for quite some time. We did run into a few challenges with the environmental studies and the fact that we do have the gas and oil leases that run down the middle of the property, so we had to pivot. And instead of certifying the full 160 acres, we're breaking it down into 2 sites, so that way we can market and promote the site that's going to be on the west side of the gas and oil leases, and then the site that's going to be on the north and east side of the oil and gas leases. I'm going to back up and talk a little bit about business recruitment and how workforce recruitment is so important with that. Something that we've done over the past 2 years is we've created our business recruitment guide and our workforce recruitment guide. You folks have copies of those in your folders, and we do have digital versions of this available for our businesses as well. So when we're recruiting the business and industry to the community, we give them the Choose Montgomery County for business. When we're trying to help the HR departments recruit the workforce to the community, we have the Choose Montgomery County to Live, Work, and Play. We worked very closely with our various communities to make sure we put together relevant information that does appeal to both the businesses that we're trying to recruit and to those families that are going to need to be the workforce to support those businesses. Sometimes it takes more than shiny print materials. Also, you have to dangle that carrot. So we did have some ARPA funds available that allow us to match employer-sponsored incentives. So if an employer is trying to recruit an individual to the community and they're willing to provide them with a sign-on bonus, MAC can come in and match that up to $5,000 or up to 10% of that individual's annual salary. We started this back in March of 2024, and to date, we have had 61 contracts signed that total over $150,000 that have been allocated to those small businesses and to the employees. And that's used for both recruitment and retention. So we're very proud of the hard work and that the responsiveness of the businesses to actually take advantage of that grant program. Some people are not aware that MAC is also the hybrid location for SBDC of Kansas. SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center, and that allows us to provide free or low-cost services to small businesses in the community, whether it's a small business that's starting up or if it's a small business that's struggling and needing some advice on how they can strengthen their business. We can help with business plans, cash flow projections. We have staff who can assist them with developing their websites. We can provide them with QuickBooks training and a variety of other services. And again, those services are free or low cost. We can't give them a free website, but we can help get it set up for free. I went ahead and included just a breakdown to kind of show the investments that Coffeyville has made in MAC since 2023 and the initiatives that have directly impacted the city of Coffeyville. Things like the business and workforce recruitment guides, the meet and greets that we've hosted, those educational workshops and more. And I'd also just like to point out that we have not increased the funding requests from you guys since 2022. We've asked for $25,000 every year. It is getting increasingly difficult to operate on $25,000, and so we're very thankful that this year both the City of Coffeyville and Coffeyville Chamber of Commerce went in and provided us with a $2,500 total match to help pay for that Team Kansas membership. So we're very appreciative of that. And of course, we'll be back later this fall to talk to you guys about our budget request for 2026. The last couple of pages, just some save the dates for you folks. We're hosting our annual awards meeting here in Coffeyville on June 26th, and that's going to be out at the Country Club. And then we're hosting our fundraiser, Taste of Montgomery County, in September, and that's going to be an opportunity for our small business restaurants, caterers, and food trucks to provide samples of their dishes to a captive audience. We're actually hosting Taste of Montgomery County in Cherryville at the Lakeside Cedar Lodge. It costs nothing for the restaurants to attend, and we will be starting to promote that to the community so they can attend as well. If you'd like to stay informed on what MAC has going on, we encourage you to join us for our quarterly meetings. The dates of those upcoming meetings are listed in your handouts. And you can always subscribe to our newsletters or follow us on Facebook to learn more about what we have going on. Last page just provided you with some contact information for myself and my staff. And if you have any questions, my door is always open. Feel free to reach out to me. You can call, text, or email me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like we have no old business, so we will move on to new business. The first order of new business is discussion on filling the Coffeyville City Commission vacancy.
Go ahead.
No,
You just want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. We are within 2 weeks of starting our budget meetings, and we have 3, maybe 4 planned. I believe it's necessary for us to have someone who has been here before, who understands that position and the budget especially. This person helped us out before during a 6-month period when we had a resignation due to that commissioner relocating. And I would like to nominate Pam Jones to take the next 6 months for a term expiring January 13th of 2026.
I'll second.
Just to be clear on that date.
I'm sure they
That's
looked it up.
correct. Yeah,
I'm sure
Melissa.
you
Well-
pick a number.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
January 13th is the day of that commission meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
So
yeah. That's when she
Well,
will,
she will leave.
she will
and-
leave that day.
she'll start out and leave that day.
Correct.
After the next, okay. I didn't know if it would expire the day before.
No,
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 no.
that's not how they always do.
No.
Yeah, she'll start out in case there's any,
Old
old
business.
business or
Yeah.
anything like that. And then during new business, then it's when we
The
do
new
the
ones come
swearing
on
in
board.
of the new
Okay, just
commissioners.
making
Right.
sure.
Right.
Okay, so motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, second by Mayor Maples, to appoint Pam Jones to the Coffeyville City Commission for a term expiring January 13th, 2026. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
And Pam, if you're watching, welcome aboard.
Okay, now, the ordinance S-25-04, an ordinance allowing alcohol to be served in the Union Pacific Park during the Coffeyville Area Chambers of Commerce's Hops Around Town Beer Festival event. City Clerk Melissa Carter will make comments, and Chamber President Candy Westbrook will be in attendance. Hey, Miss Candy.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Chamber has requested to allow the serving and consumption of beer and wine during their Hops Around Town Brewfest event on October 11th, 2025, subject to the parameters set forth in the event description that was submitted by Candy. The City Code prohibits the consumption of alcohol on public property, subject to some exceptions. One exception is allowed for city-owned property, which has been exempted by the Commission by ordinance. This ordinance would exempt Union Pacific Park, the adjacent streets and alleyways, as depicted in the drawings submitted by Candy, from the restrictions on the consumption of alcohol during this event only. And they do have an approved special event application on file, and Candy can answer any questions about the event.
Well, thank you again for letting me talk about the resolution. This festival has been going on about 6 years now, and we bring in microbreweries, wineries, and distilleries to provide samples for the ticket holders. We have a cornhole tournament, live music, food trucks, and entertainment, about 400 to 500 in attendance, and along with providing the community event for adults just for enhanced quality of life, it also brings direct sales to our businesses. Over the last few years, we've had multiple restaurants and establishments indicate that they've had probably one of the higher amounts of sales that they had for the entire year. So we know it brings in sales for our businesses as well as visitors to the community. We have several overnight stays and visitors. And one thing I do want to make sure I emphasize is just what we have put in place for parameters to make sure it's safe and secure. So alcohol is not sold per state requirements by the actual breweries. Consumption is only allowed in the designated areas, which we have either fenced in, barricaded, or roped off. We do have the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department or reserves that are monitoring that throughout the day to make sure that, one, everybody's following those guidelines on the barricades and just make sure everybody's behaving well. And we do make sure that we ID everybody as they come in, and so it's only 21 and over that are allowed to be in the roped off areas and the barricades for alcohol consumption. So I'm open to any questions that you may have about the event.
I think your event has also been a big draw for class reunions that weekend.
It has been. So the weekend before is, of course, Dalton Days,
Day.
and then the next weekend is Brewfest. And so most of the class reunions are trying to either pick one or the other to come into town and host an event. So, yeah, I think there was 4 last year on that weekend, and a few of them, came downtown and joined us. So, okay.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I will move to approve the first reading of ordinance S-25-04 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Maples, to approve the first reading of ordinance S-25-04 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Resolution R-25-59, a resolution to authorize a demolition contract with Swindell Excavation for the demolition of 11 structures. Director of Facility Services, Matt Conger, will make comments.
Good evening,
Hey,
Mayor and
Matt.
Commissioners. Over the last few years, code enforcement has moved forward to finish the process needed to remove structures that are a danger or nuisance to the neighborhoods they reside in. In April of 2025, we opened a bid opportunity for the demolition of those 11 properties. The bids were due back May 22nd of 2025. We received a low bid of $137,000 with Swindell Excavation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think you're going to make a lot of people happy with the gym.
With this
Yes.
packet, we did put 2 large properties on it. It's probably 2 of the more larger nuisance properties we have in town, so it's,
But I think that's
we gotta
been,
start somewhere.
been
It's-
asked about a
For a long
lot,
time.
and we
Yes.
appreciate it.
So thank you.
What was the other big ticket item besides the?
The other large property is 816 Illinois Street. It's about a half a city block with multiple trailers, condemned houses in it. They've had a fire there last year from squatters being in one of those properties. There's junk cars all strung through it. It's
gonna
it's
be a
been like
lot.
that for a long time
Yeah.
too, and it's on the south side of town, but the neighbors, they really
They're
want to
gonna-
see something
yes.
done with
They'll
it.
appreciate
They
that.
will, very much so. If there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-59 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner, to approve Resolution R-25-59 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Resolution R-25-60, a resolution to approve task order number 7 with Lochner for design of a mill and overlay for runway 1735 and submit an FAA grant application. Director of Parks, Jared Powers, will make comments. Good
Mayor
evening.
Commissioners, this is a continuation of a FAA grant for the Coffeyville Airport. We did a geotechnical report analysis, and FAA came out in our favor, of course. And FAA has given us the notice to proceed with the grant application for a mill and overlay of 1735 and a design only from Lochner. This grant is a 95% FAA and a 5% sponsor. Staff recommends the approval of task order number 7 in agreement and submittal of an FAA grant application for design only.
This will be good.
From
Any
an
questions?
operational standpoint, how long will that shut down that runway?
I do not know, but we do have an alternate runway that we just did a lot of repairs on last year. And this is for full width and length,
That's good.
I
So
know
we got all 20, we got the extra 25?
100 feet wide, 5,868 feet long.
Outstanding.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Have you been given updated dates? So this is the work.
This
to
is
do the
for
grant
design,
applica- yeah,
design only, and submit the grant application.
Did they say when grant
So-
would be awarded or not?
Well, they're telling us to go ahead and proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is we don't have enough money stockpiled for this, so they will go out and get other funds from other airports that aren't using it to get us enough money to, this is the $5 million project.
This is similar to where we had to give funds back.
Yes.
For a similar project. Now the same thing's happening back to
Yes.
us.
What would be basic 3 to 4 or 3 to 6 month time frame on
Mill and
project?
overlay goes a lot faster than a full
Yeah.
reconstruction, so the painting is probably longer than the mill and overlay.
Well, I mean, is this expected for mid '27,
They're
28.
hoping if they get all the funds together, late '26.
late '26?
Could be sooner, it just depends on the non-discretionary funds.
Okay.
That's great.
I'll move to approve Resolution R-25-60 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks to approve Resolution R-25-60 as presented. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Resolution R-25-61, a resolution to approve a work authorization agreement with Alger Martin and Associates for construction engineering services for the CRMC Street Improvement Project. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments. Good
Good
evening.
evening. This is for the inspection of the project that was approved around the hospital, which would include First Street, Second Street, Third Street, Poplar, Wilkie, and also the mill and overlay of Fourth between Buckeye and the Sycamore Creek Bridge. This is Alger Martin, who's also the one that designed this. We wanted to go with them since there will probably be some changes that will need to go along the way as we proceed.
So this is just for their inspection services?
Yes, correct.
And what will that entail?
That will include monitoring, testing of the concrete, testing of the asphalt, making sure everything is done according to KDOT specs, because that's the way this was designed, using KDOT specs.
All right, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, I move to approve Resolution R-25-61 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-61 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. Okay, Resolution R-25-62, a resolution to approve a construction contract with Environmental Process Equipment Company for upgrades to the UV system at the wastewater treatment plant. Executive Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comments.
The UV light system that's at the wastewater facility, this is the final step the water goes through prior to it being discharged to the river. The UV lights kills the E. coli bacteria and reduces it down to a level that's safe to put back into the river. We are having issues with the lights because this is the original to the structure that was built in 2003, I believe. The contractor that we have there, Environmental Process Equipment Company, is one that's been recommended by Viola. Viola is the company that purchased Infincino de Gramont, which is the company that would originally put this stuff in.
Okay.
It's the same manufacturer, so they are very familiar with the system that we have, and that's the reason we have chose them. We're going to upgrade. Currently, there are 8 modules that have 40, each one of them has 40 UV lights that passes through. Our control panel has been propped open for just over a year now with a fan blowing in it because of the heat, the moisture. It's It's just not doing real well. There's the modules, we have circuit boards in the modules that burn up quite often. They have to replace these. Every 2 weeks, they have to remove every module and clean each individual bulb to help with the sterilization of that. Now, the new module, the bulbs will be twice as bright and there'll be half as many. So that is, the new system will have the ability to control the lights, each light on each module. What we have now is either on or off. And that is the weaker bulbs, and they're on constantly whenever they're running. Currently, it's 330 lights they order per year to replace these lights when they burn out, and that's $9,000 per. So we're hoping to get at least twice as long out of the bulbs where we're going to do it now, and being able to control the number of bulbs that we have on per module.
Sounds good.
I have a question.
Say,
Yes, sir.
I recently had the privilege of touring the wastewater plant, which was real nice. So I saw this area and I saw the control panel. So my question is, you just explained why the control panel had moisture, and I believe it was located in the same room as
Correct.
where the water stream is going through. So has there been any thought to putting the control panel inside where the air-conditioned office is to prevent this in the future?
I cannot answer that question.
I mean, if that was the cause, it might be something to do to put the control
I
panel
don't think that
in a
was the, I don't think
climate
that was the
controlled.
total cause. I think the total cause was the,
Well, it's old.
make sure
I
you get the
realize that,
termination
but-
right. The circuit boards that are in the modules that are submerged, those are the ones they're having to replace quite often, and those are where the short outs are occurring, which causes the control box to draw. It creates more heat when you have issues down there at the circuit boards. I think that's the main culprit of why that's propped open. So the breakers in the control box that are opened up, with the fan blowing on them, they've only blown out a fuse or a breaker every 2 or 3 months. And the main problem is what's submerged down below.
And that room is not, of course, it's not climate
No,
controlled. So
no.
in the hot summer,
Correct.
it can get really hot. That's
Yes.
another reason maybe
Yes.
think about moving it to
We
a
can look
climate
into
controlled
that
location.
and see if that's a possibility, or see if that would alleviate some of the problems or not. No.
Okay, thank you.
So the water that's coming in, the water that's going back out, this is coming from both storm and gray water, or just gray water only?
Unfortunately, there's some stormwater that gets into our system, I&I, that gets into the sanitary sewer system, the lines, or someone plumbed in a downspout or an area drain into it. We don't want it to be that way, but it is that way. Whenever it's been raining here lately, we are operating at full capacity. We have filled the lagoon up. Of course, we're waiting for the overflow lagoon to be drained down so we can finish that contract with that contractor. But right now, it is at full capacity right now. We don't intend to treat stormwater. It just happens that way, unfortunately.
But we do address the chemicals that may be in that runoff, chemicals in someone's yard.
Well, everything gets treated that runs through the plant.
Okay.
And then they're tested. We run dozens of tests per month. We have a lab come and collect samples and take back. There's weekly tests that we run, and then also monthly tests that are run.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-62 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Maples to approve Resolution R-25-62 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Resolution R-25-63, a resolution of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas, authorizing certain improvements and providing for the payment of costs thereof, CRNF transformers. Executive Director of Electric, Chris Weiner, will make comments. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you again for having us here, and just wanted to be here. You have in your packet the kind of an overview, but this is for the B-sub project out here by the steam plant, by the refinery in CRNF, and we're replacing their transformers, upgrading those to much larger transformers to allow for some redundancy and expansion opportunities there. But that's a fairly large project, as you can see, $23 million. They are reimbursing the city for the vast majority of the debt servicing costs, or for all of the debt servicing costs here. The city has very marginal costs involved in the overall project. That there's going to be some very small upgrades overall that will impact the city at large, and so we'll absorb the cost of those. But the vast majority of this project will be directly attributable to CRNF and to their direct advantage and improvement. So they're going to bear the burden of the majority of these costs. So we don't expect it to reach the $23 million number, but this gives us some flexibility to, in case the costs do go up, because as with everything, we've seen that, and so whatever that number climbs to, hopefully we keep it down as much as possible. They want that as well, obviously, but we're just trying to get the ball rolling here. You should see for the next few months, I think this is step one of a 4-part process. So this will be the initial issuance or authority to issue the bonds, and you'll see some further action items on upcoming agendas to proceed here. There's no requirement at this point. You always could step back if something happens and you aren't comfortable in the future. This is just to get the ball rolling, but hopefully we don't have that happen, obviously.
Okay. All right.
I have questions.
If there's no other questions,
No questions.
all right, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-63 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-25-63 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now have executive session to discuss matters deemed privileged and confidential. I will move to recess to executive session for consultation with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as permitted by KSA 75-4319B2 to include the city attorney and the city manager for a period of 10 minutes
Huh?
to reconvene in the commission room at 7:40.
I will second that.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to recess to executive session for consultation with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as permitted by KSA 75-4319B2 to include the city attorney and city manager for a period of 10 minutes to reconvene in the commission room at 7:40 p.m. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Okay. We will Coffeyville Regional Medical Center. Ben Brubaker will make comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this request is to transition the governance and property ownership of Coffeyville Regional Medical Center, CRMC, from the City of Coffeyville to CRMC, Inc., enabling greater operational flexibility, regional growth, and strategic planning to enhance healthcare services for Coffeyville and surrounding community. If you recall, this ordinance was on, we went through a first reading of this, and we had to carry it over. Some issues came up, some attorneys brought up. We've got those things sorted out, and the ordinance before you just has that one change, that there'll still be some control aspects of the Board of Directors that the City Commission will oversee.
I will move to approve the first reading of ordinance S-25-05 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Mabel, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve the first reading of ordinance S-25-05 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. Okay, we will now have our city manager's report.
Okay. Just want to do a quick update. I know Chris came in, may have mentioned to a few of you, we do have engines 8 and 10 up, running full capacity. Everything was looking great. Wartzilla came out, and while Wartzilla was here, they mentioned some concerns that they have seen with pistons on some of the similar engines in the area, and that did not come up in our inspection, so we've pushed back at the folks that were doing that to see if we need to do more. Just, again, one thing after another. They are up, they are running. 9, we're still waiting on those turbo cartridges to come in so we can go and do the same thing. But a lot of when Wartzilla came in, it was a little bit difficult to understand the accent from Finland. But really it boiled down to the City of Coffeyville chose not to go after the maintenance package that was offered by Wartzilla, and some of our issues, once we have done our maintenance to turn it on, could have been resolved if they're taking a closer eye to that. One of the things they mentioned is Wartzilla is getting to a point now where it's requiring these maintenance packages because of the issues they've seen. So I expect, as Chris continues to work with Wartzilla, that you'll see us bring that back as a recommendation to go and get those packages that we probably should have had. We'll figure out what's going on with the pistons here in the future as well. We have those conversations started. Chris, do you want to add anything to that? That it? Okay. Animal control. We have several people have applied for that position. We're still finessing some of the particulars and hope to have a conversation with friends of the Coffeyville Friends of Animals here. I think the 18th is their board meeting, and I'll be going to visit with them on some potential changes, get some buy-in there to continue to enhance, hopefully, what we're doing in town. One thing I found, I've talked to Pittsburgh and Chanute and Joplin, and talked to the Department of Agriculture Animal Division. Same problem everyone else is experiencing. It's not unique here. There's just an extreme overabundance of animals, not a lot of responsibility from the folks that have brought those animals in. And so as we visited with all these folks, trying to take the best parts of what they're doing and implement it here. So hopefully that's what you'll see if we can get some buy-in from animal shelter as well as staff on the positions that we have here. So still being worked on. We had a high-speed chase come through town.
I heard about that.
A few of you reached out, and I've had some people in the community reach out as well. It is concerning when you're reaching, between 90 and 105 miles per hour on residential streets. I did speak with Ron Wade, our sheriff, on the particulars of that. Still some loose ends that I have in those communications to completely understand what happened. Ultimately, though, I wanted to say that Coffeyville PD was not involved in that chase. We have policies that unless it's over a felony, something extreme, we will not engage in that level of a chase through town.
And so we were there, we attempted to block off a few of the streets, we monitored as much radio traffic as we could. We couldn't, Labette County was involved in that initially, and it moved in. Sheriff's departments under state jurisdiction are able to perform things like that. So I know I had some concern from the community, and Coffeyville, again, did not participate, followed at a distance to report on, and I'll continue to get some of the answers from our both our sheriff and perhaps Labette County, just so I can understand that process and their internal policies on, we're talking 6 p.m. Through residential streets. It can be very nerve-wracking for our residents, and having kids on the streets concerning, I understand. So we'll try to get more of those questions answered. Infographics are moving along for our electric rate increases. Went through and met again today, trying to put the final touches on those. So we are continue to be focused on communicating with our residents on the increases. This is not funny. Well, it was funny to me. Maybe it's not completely funny, but Mike O'Connor pointed out to me some Facebook posts down in Miami, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the exact same thing. They also are with GRDA, and they're increasing their rates over 3 years, 22%. We're just 1% or 2% underneath that. A lot of the same comments, a lot of the same frustration, but they pulled up a graph, and I want to say there was 15 different cities, some in Kansas, some in Oklahoma, with rates that included PCA. Guess who was the lowest on that graph? The city of Coffeyville. Again, that's not a real great thing to be proud of. We should have been increasing a little bit higher, but just trying to point out that these conversations are happening all over. The cost of electricity, the costs that we've articulated are not just focused here in Coffeyville. Last night I attended the school board meeting. The topic that I was there for is the indoor pool. Presentation was given with a lot of the particulars, and there was no decision made in that meeting. They were not asked. It was purely a presentation. So my interpretation of that meeting is that it's going to cost a lot, and I'm not sure that the school has the ability to go and restore that and keep it moving. So then they're faced with some other hard decisions. So one was repair the roof, don't have the pool, so fill it in. Repair the roof, do the upgrades needed to the pool, kind of restore, or tear it down and pull it out. So 3 hard decisions there. All of them cost money. In July, my understanding is that we'll come back to that board for a decision. A lot of community partners that have reached out to me in town saying, how can we partner to maybe relieve some of that from the school district? So I expect there'll be more conversations with the decision coming up in July, perhaps board members there reaching out. Please feel free, if you know them, to have those conversations as the city may be asked, do you want to participate in helping that pool stick around? So some tough decisions that they're going to have to make. Fairgrounds. We heard back on our grant and it was denied, unfortunately. Moving into a Plan B, looking at different options. First option would be just to go and I've got the engineers engaged on. They gave an estimate of $1 million to just repair what we have, and so they are working on that to get it more solidified. Secondary to that, the Fair Board, some members of that board have started really reaching out to. I don't know that I would say local. I don't know local seed companies, some different in the agriculture community that do have influence in this area, trying to see if there are other opportunities for their grants that the city can apply for. Looking for some other money there. So continue to work with the Fair Board, the Fair Association, see what options we have. Another option or two has popped up with the state that I'm chasing down right now. I don't have particulars on, but we're not going to just say, darn, we lost it. We're going to move forward because there's still a great need out there for at least repairing what we have. And so expect those conversations to continue here over the next few months. With that, I think I'm done.
Any comments?
Could I address the sales tax allocation on the table you provided with us?
Yep.
All right, just as an example, for May, 718,926. And the allocation, it's just all the recipient funds across there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's just the total divided by 6. There's an even distribution across in all areas. Would it be more appropriate to make that allocation based on need, request, or, why is it just a straight divide by 6 and plug it in?
Well, how the sales tax works on that is each sales tax has a percentage base in there. So I'm not sure how the finance department goes and pulls that back to tell, but ultimately that's all divided out by percentage. So there's a half-cent sales tax. Within that, it may be 40% assigned to economic development, 20% to downtown, and so it's spread throughout. So I think what you're asking is, can we just even that across all sales tax? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm looking here for May. The general fund, it's $119,821 for every single general fund, street improvement, capital improvements, community. I mean, it's the same number clear across. So the total has just been divided by 6, and that's the entry.
Well, because each sales tax is a half cent.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be equal from each of those components, but then within that sales tax, some is a straight half cent, all that money goes to that project. Others are divided and broken into several projects. So yes, divided by 6 because of each sales tax.
Half a cent went here, half a cent went here, half a cent went here, half a cent went there.
That's because that was voted on.
It's all half a
And
cent.
then below that, the capital improvement
Right,
is
and then
broken
it's-
out.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
It's
gone
broken
out.
out.
The allocation is out at the bottom of what those were divided into.
Right.
Okay, all right,
Right.
thank you.
Because that's a vote and the parameters are set of
Right.
each of those,
You
we'd
have
have
to
to do it
write
that
it
way.
All right.
Yep. Do you have anything?
Yeah, just something to talk about. I saw it myself, and it was brought up to me, and it's been brought up before. We have trout at LeClaire Park. People are fishing. I've seen people net fishing,
Yeah.
and a lot of people have a problem with that, and they want it to be rod and reel, and somebody not go out there with big nets and just take all the fish.
We have answers to that.
So
Yes, we do.
Yeah, Deb looked that up.
Deb called the game warden.
good. What's
They
your
are
update?
net fishing.
They are.
So what's happening is, this is what I was told, they are net fishing, they are bait fishing. There are bait fish and there are game fish. Right now the water's high. They are bait fishing in LeClaire. They are taking those bait and going to the river and fishing. They are not supposed to be taking the game fish. The warden lives in Coffeyville and keeps an eye on that. You realize the state put those trout in there. They don't want that happening. They're keeping an eye on it.
That's what I was asking.
They are
Yeah.
watching it. He said, not that you're not going to accidentally get a game fish in the net. It's going to happen. You throw it back. You take the bait fish, you go to the river. That's fine.
So is it illegal to catch the game fish with a net?
Not
Even
if you're
if you
trying
just
to
caught
scoop
one.
If you scoop up fish and you accidentally you cannot say a game fish, don't jump in the net.
But I'm saying if you, sometimes there's other rules.
Yeah,
Like if you
can't
did, you put
can't-
it back.
Yeah, that's the rule, is you have to put it back.
You have
can't-
to put it back.
You can't
You have to
take
put
it
it
and
back.
put it in your cooler or something.
Look
Okay.
through there, kind of root around in there and see if you don't have a game fish in there.
Okay.
But they are
It
net
was just,
fishing.
it was asked.
Yeah, and it was asked of me, and my first thought was, call the game warden. So I did.
Okay. We had Coffeyville Plaza LLC. I saw a sales tax distribution of about $11,238, and then there were a couple other few $100 ones. And we had talked about that we were going to review that at some point. with them and see, because there was going to be a limit of, we had it planned out years, but once they hit a certain amount, we were going to stop it. And wondering how that's going and where we see that trend.
I can get that for you. I don't have any of the trend data. I can tell you they're a long way away.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But we can
They're
absolutely.
but I'm saying what was presented in the meeting as per month, or what they projected versus what's actually happening right now.
Yeah, we can get that.
I think that's it. I had other questions, but I'll ask them outside of the meeting.
You have nothing?
Nope.
Anything?
Right.
Okay, I don't have anything either, thank you. Now, executive session number 2.
Okay.
I move to recess to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel as permitted by the non-elected personnel matter exception to the Open Meetings Act as set forth in KSA 75-4319B1 to include the city attorney for a brief period of 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
To reconvene in the commission room at 8:05.
I'll second it.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to recess to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters of non-elected personnel as permitted by the non-elected personnel matter exception to the Open Meetings Act as set forth in KSA 75-4319B1 to include the city attorney for a period of 10 minutes to reconvene in the commission room at 8:05 p.m. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. We will reconvene, and there has been no action taken at this time. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'm so move.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.